Hello everyone and welcome again in my craft room, in my little corner on the internet where I talk about my obsession for knitting, of course. It is A Knitter's Suitcase podcast and I am Daniela and you are very welcome here. If you follow me, you know that I normally, turn up in front of my camera and love to chat about all my knitting projects and the inspiration that I get all over the internet and, from my knitting friends and how I document that on my knitting journal. So that's the typical format for this podcast. But this one is a very special episode that I have sort of hinted at in my previous one because we are here to announce an important event. It's my first knit-along. Isn't that exciting? I mean, I've been thinking about doing a knit-along to sort of, feel even closer to the fantastic community that I've come across. Both here in Perth, in person, and in online as well during these, last 12 months of my presence on YouTube and mainly on Instagram. You'll find below all the details about my social medias and where you can find me if this is the first time you're here. So, well, I must say this idea of the knit-along has been enabled as well and supported by a special person who is my lovely friend Susan. You find her at 8001 Stitches on Instagram. She is Finnish and I met her here in Perth. She lives here with her family too, and we have become very, very good knitting friends. And we together decided to try and, do a call to the community for some just casual knitting gathering around the city. So we've done the first one in November, and then we've had another beautiful, beautiful one in, last Sunday. So today is the 28th of February, and that was on the 25th, last Sunday. We met with other ladies that we already knew, and we had a couple or probably 3 new knitters joining us, new to us, of course, and it was a pure moment of joy. So we thought that these, happy times that the in-person and the virtual knitting communities are giving us should be celebrated. And we decided to celebrate them with a knit-along. Now, for the people in Perth, for any knitters in Perth, here where I am in Western Australia, the knit-along is running somehow in person. And you can get in touch with me or find me on social medias to read more about how this is happening. But I really want it to be an event that brings together the wider community here on YouTube and on Instagram. And of course, anyone, anywhere in the world is warmly invited to join in, especially because the theme that we decided to pick for this knit-along is a very exciting one. We decided to support and, give visibility and have an opportunity to enjoy the work of an Australian designer who, I really am, whose designs I'm really in love with. And this person that I had the honor of and the luck of meeting in person is Vera Marcu of the Veralove Knitting brand, shall we say. That's the name of her Ravelry page where you can go and find all the beautiful projects she designs. She has got something for everyone. So you can choose some small projects, like I'll add some photographs as I talk, like like a cowl or a beanie from the Margarita series, for example. If you are a shawl knitter, you know, I have a soft spot for shawls. You can find shawls of different sizes and different levels of, you know, difficulty, or let's say difficult level of challenges for new or more experienced knitters. You can find some really special garments. She is very much into designing, you know, textural sort of fabrics, using cables, using even more simpler, I should say, stitches like knit and purl. She's got this gift of being able to turn them in some sort of very interesting and quite, you know, stunning fabrics, knitted fabrics. So really there is everything for you know, all tastes. The rules of the knit along are really simple. You pick one or more of her patterns, and you have time until the 16th of March to get one or more of her patterns with a fantastic discount. This is the code that you can use, and that's 50% off Vera Loves Knitting prices, for 50% of the prices on all of Vera's designs. Again, I'm repeating it. It's Vera Loves Knitting, Vera Marcu on Ravelry. You'll have the link below, of course. So you pick your pattern, you pick your yarn. And again, here we've got a very special something for you, because we sort of partnered with two local dyers to Perth, Amy of the Cable Tie Knits brand, and Michelle, Dying to Knit Yarns. They both have a wide and beautiful range of colors and bases for all, you know, all tastes. And they will offer a 15% discount on the price of the yarns that you want to go and pick from their websites. So all the details for the discounts and the link to their websites are again in the description box below. Or you can follow me on Instagram, because I'll sort of post about these again and again, because you know, you can decide to start now, but there's actually 3 months to complete your project. So from the 9th of March, which is the starting date, to the 9th of June, 3 full months when you can knit one or more than one of these projects. And you will, I hope you will want to share them on Instagram with this hashtag that I'm writing here. And of course, once they are finished, you should just enter the hashtag with FO in the end. And we will have quite a few, you know, nice things to send to some of you lucky winners in parcels at the end of the knit along. But I'll sort of add details about that, you know, later on in these 3 months. If you are in Perth, there will be a Facebook group dedicated to the Perth knitters who can sort of stay in touch during this period of time. This is the name of the Facebook group, and Vera will be on it and will be able to support you, and you'll be able to, you know, sort of follow the journey of many beautiful projects being knitted by the local knitters. If you are on Instagram, or if you are, you know, far away from us, you can stay in touch and, you know, have Vera's support by joining her Ravelry group that you find on her profile on Ravelry. And of course, if you share all your work and, you know, any progress on that with the hashtag on Instagram, we will be there, you know, keeping an eye on the beautiful projects you are making. Of course, both myself and Vera are available at our social media, on our social media accounts, so you can find us there as well if you want to, you know, get in touch while you're working on the knit along. And if you're a small maker and you want to contribute to the prizes for this event, please, again, get in touch. We'd love to sort of have a chance to give your work some visibility through the knit along. The beginning, as we said, is the 9th of March, and to make it a real celebration, we are also going to have a virtual custom party on Zoom. So that will be, again, promoted, all the details for that will be promoted on my Instagram, a knit suitcase account, so you can find it there, or on the Facebook group if you're a Perth knitter. I think that's everything in terms of the technical details of the knit along. The little bit of recording that is following is, I think, the most interesting part of this chat we are having today, because it is an interview that I did with Vera, because I really wanted to share with you, you know, her personal description of her project, her sort of design style, and let you meet her, who is really a lovely lady. She's got a very bubbly personality, and she's definitely super talented. You'll see that when you go on her Ravelry page as well. But she will, if you watch the interview, she'll be able to sort of help you, you know, have some directions about the characteristics of the various designs and help you choose the one you want to knit in this circumstance. Well, you may want to know what I am knitting. Well, I have at least 2 projects in my mind for this knit along, but we will have to see how good I'm going to be, because, you know, there's a piece of news in my life that's now asleep on the couch next to me. We've got a new puppy in this house last Sunday. It's the first dog we've ever had, so we are very new puppy parents, and she's a little, well, not very little, she'll grow into a biggish dog. She's a mixed breed, but she's a rescue pup, so she needs a lot of love and training and care, and that's taking up so much time. But I'd never be able to go through the stress of raising a new puppy without my knitting and without your sort of love and this beautiful community. So I'll be here anyway. In terms of the projects, though, that I'm gonna make, I am planning to start with a shawl, because of course I've got 2 shawls on my needles at the moment. Yeah, 2. But a shawl is always a comfort knit for me. And I've been wishing to knit an all lace shawl for quite a long time. So my first choice goes to the Excelsior wrap that you see right here. It is a beautiful lace. It looks amazing on both sides, the right and the wrong side. And I can't wait to start it. And I have already sourced my yarn. Of course, I've taken advantage of one of the special promotions that Amy and Michelle have kindly agreed to give us for the knit along. And this is my first choice. This is a beautiful, it's called Plum. It's the Plum colorway by Cable Tie Knits, sorry. Cable Tie Knits, and it's an alpha 4-ply base. 85% superwash extra fine merino wool, 15% nylon. 100 grams is 400 meters. I am literally in love with this plum color, and I hope that I'll manage to, no, I will definitely, wind one of them at least up and be ready on the 9th of March to start my first project during the cast-on party. The other project that I'd really, really love to make afterwards is the Crazy About Cables jumper. Here it is. My friend Susan, that I've mentioned already, did test knit this jumper for Vera, and I've seen in person her beautiful version. Here it is. And honestly, I'm absolutely in love with it. Cables, I have done cables before, but not necessarily one of my favorite textures. In this case, I'm totally drawn to this design, and I'm drawn to the fact that the construction is sideways, but well, Vera will tell you everything about it in the interview if you stay a bit longer with me and watch it. Here it is.
Hello, Vera. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Hello, Daniela. I'm so excited to be talking to you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's absolutely a pleasure. I am excited for this interview and for the knit along even more because, I've got a lot of plans about beautiful things to make, and I hope that everyone gets as excited about your patterns as I am.
Yes, I'm very excited. This is my first knit along, and I've been thinking about it for a long time because I love connecting to knitters and seeing what happens to the patterns. Like, of course, it's lovely when they buy the patterns, but it's even more wonderful when you actually see the project in work in progress or finished. It's just, for me, it always makes my day.
I bet it must be really like seeing, your own creations go into the world and be embraced by others, isn't it? Yeah. So, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit so that, we can get to know you better?
Sure. So I am Australian now, but I was born in Romania, and I've come to Australia in 2000. And I have a daughter and a husband here. And we speak Romanian at home, but English, of course, is now my main language.
Yeah.
And I'm a musician, so I play violin and viola, and I teach both these instruments. And I love teaching, and I love being with children, and they're always fun. And knitting has always been with me. So
okay, did you learn from your family? Where did you learn knitting?
Yes, my mom taught me how to knit when I was about maybe 7 or 8, and I started my first projects were these they're about this wide for school. So at school we had to have this hairband. So I was like, oh, excellent. So I would make them out of white, because they had to be white, only garter stitch. So, 10 stitches, go straight, bind off, and tie them at the back. And, after I made like 20 of them, my mom said, maybe you should try something else.
Exactly. Exactly. Maybe a blanket after 20 headbands.
Yeah, and then very, very soon, because she was knitting, I would see what she's doing. So I had all sorts of ideas, and I remember maybe I was 9 or 10, and I made a vest. I straight at the deep end, not just because it was a vest, but I wanted stripes in it.
Of course. All the difficulties.
Yes. Okay. So it was yellow and white, and I also thought it would be really cool if it had an exclamation mark here on the chest. So,
oh, fun!
Yes. And then so I made the exclamation mark in black, but I didn't know about what happens if you don't tie the yarns at the back. So the exclamation mark curled in, and you could see all the...
Oh, well, it was a massive effort anyway, so you can't be too critical with your 10 years old self. So.
It was wearable. I did wear it.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. And do you think there's some, because you know what they say about musical people and the fact that usually there's a strong connection between a mathematical brain and a musical brain. And I find that there's a lot of maths involved in knitting as well. So do you think in your brain there's a big connection between all these things or not?
I see your point about maths, because you do need a lot of maths with knitting. But I have been thinking about it, and it's probably more patterns, all sorts of patterns, like the pattern that you have when you play music. You know, the notes come in a certain order, and you have, I don't know how much you know about music, but there's all these, you know, bar lines and structures, and something begins and something ends, and then you're in that flow of doing something. And I think the pattern in knitting is also very similar. It's when you knit, you sort of feel if something has gone wrong. Once you become more experienced, you feel that you missed a beat. Let's say, you know, like when you play music, it's the same thing. You play, and you go like, oh, I think I missed the rest, you know, because something doesn't flow properly. So definitely there are connections.
I see. But how did you go from just being a knitter, which is not just being, from being a knitter, because we knitters are a big deal, from being a knitter to being a designer?
So we didn't have a lot of patterns in Romania to knit from. And then when we did have them, they were mostly magazines that were German magazines for knitting.
Oh, okay.
And we never had the yarn that was recommended there. And also, I don't know if you're familiar with the German magazines, they didn't come in a lot of sizes. You would have 2 sizes for each pattern. You wouldn't have, 10 sizes, so you can choose your size. It would be, 42 to 46, which would be like 12 to 14. And that's it. Bad luck if you're not in that.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So I had to always look and think, there's the schematic. I need to get to that number of centimeters here, or, for the sleeves. And we just made it up. My mom told me, you multiply that by the other and you get your gauge, and, good luck.
Well, the whole situation sort of led to you to be very creative with your own projects, didn't it?
Yeah, so in a way, it's very helpful if you don't have everything given to you on a plate, isn't it? It's like it makes you work harder, and then have to deal with, the yarn that wasn't the right yarn, and the pattern that wasn't existent. So very soon I started looking at photos going like, oh, I know how that's done. You do that and then you do that. And so probably in the last 20 years, I haven't really used many patterns. Maybe 1 or 2, because my favorite designer is Nora Gord, and her patterns are so complicated that you can't figure out. So her patterns, I bought them, and I otherwise everything I've knitted is just, I would look at a jumper I liked, and then I would find a stitch pattern that I liked. And then I'd go like, oh, I can do that. So then, my friends would go like, oh, that's so good, that's beautiful. Like, oh, why don't you start selling your jumpers? And of course, no one would pay the money.
No,
to make it worth it.
Absolutely.
So then I thought, I'll just write down a pattern for something very simple, and that was the wattle. Is it a wrap? It is a wrap. Wattle wrap, which is a very simple rectangular shape with two stitch patterns in it. And I thought, I can write this down. And Ravelry was offering this opportunity. You can just put your patterns and people would buy them. So I put the pattern in one evening, and then the next morning 5 people had bought it.
That must have been a joyful day for you.
And you know, like if they are watching this, I apologize because probably wasn't perfect, but you know, first pattern.
Knitters are lovely people. They understand and they support everyone.
Yes.
So I'm sure they appreciated the design anyway. Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. And then you have later started publishing some of your designs as well with magazines. So what do you find more interesting? Just dealing directly with the knitters through Ravelry or being through the magazine? What do you find more fulfilling?
I think if you're a budding designer, it's a very good idea to work with the professionals, basically. They have tech editors, they have they give you exactly how to write a pattern. So basically you learn from them whilst at the same time being paid for the pattern. So it's a dream come true working with magazines. There's so much you learn from them, and they are so supportive. And then, of course, you see your design in a magazine, which is amazing.
Yeah, well, it must be a moment.
So I am so grateful that I was able to do that and learn so much. It is a bit frustrating because you don't get to choose the yarn. It happens that, you know, you can get this beautiful yarn and you go like exactly right what I wanted, but it can be a difference. So that is the thing that's not so pleasant. I mean, for me, it was a positive experience altogether, but I can imagine that some companies would have a complete different vision than yours. And then you can't control it.
Yeah, no, I understand. So you did say that Nora Gogan is, you know, a big inspiration for you. Do you find what normally sort of is behind the creation of a new design? Is it a yarn driven sort of process, or is it something you come across just in your daily life? What does happen usually that sparks that idea in you?
Very often it is a project that I've seen around. Like I walk in a Westfield mall or somewhere, and I see a jumper that has an interesting stitch, and I will take a photo. And I have a whole album of photos called Knitting, and there's probably 1,000 photos now there. I sometimes go through them and see what's interesting. But of course, the yarn. Many of my things started with yarn of my designs. There would be a yarn that I love, and then I would have to swatch and see what it needs doing, because every yarn behaves differently, as you know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So many things have started with yarn. Everyone's favorite craze about cables was firstly done in Rowan felty tweed. And so it's like a 5-ply, and the stitch definition is good. And then of course I did it in the beautiful ochre yarn 5-ply that worked so well for it. But definitely yarn drives. And recently I've been collaborating with some yarn companies, and they sent me their yarn, and I have a look and go like, okay, this is it. Let's see. And it's tricky. It's not easy. The semplice was an absolute struggle, because alpaca yarn it's soft and it's beautiful, but it doesn't show the stitch definition
as much as merino. Of course.
When I did it, I realized it has to be knit and purl. It can't be anything else. None of the cables were worth bothering with. Lace didn't seem to work. You couldn't really see the lace. So there it is.
There it is.
Template.
Wow.
This is not the alpaca. This is I think it's merino with linen. So you can see little flecks of linen. But this works well.
This pattern really blows my mind, because it's so simple. Well, semplice in Italian means simple, doesn't it? Because we haven't said that, but Vera and I have sort of got good friends talking Italian because she's such a clever lady. She's not only a musician and a knitting designer, she also learns and speaks very good Italian. So we bonded over that. So it is simple in the sense that it's simple stitches, just knit and pearls, isn't it? But the overall effect, I think, is absolutely fantastic. So it just is a statement piece being that simple. It's incredible.
Yeah, so lately everyone's been saying, can you do easier things? Because I like structure and I like cables and everything, but so many of my friends and people I've met at yarn festivals have said, oh, that's too hard. You have anything easier? So semplice was a bit of a tongue-in-cheek. I was like, simple. You want simple?
Well, actually, this is a very good point also for, to guide our friends through the knit along. So I'm pretty sure, starting from your simple all the way up to the crazy about cables, there's something beautiful and ideal for all skill levels. But if you wanted to sort of point like 2 patterns for each skill level, medium, intermediate, and high skills, what would you suggest?
So semplice is definitely easy. There's another easy shawl that's made from this one is made from 5 little skeins, so it could work with one of those advent calendars.
So it's 100 grams yarn altogether.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Or you can make it in 100 grams, one color.
Yeah, just one skein.
Yeah, so it's very easy. There's just reverse stockinette, stockinette, and there's a little edge, which is just 10 rows repeated. So no big drama. So this is side by side. And it's long enough so you can wear it, around your neck.
Perfect. Yeah. I really like those. There are quite a few of these sort of 100 grams small scarves around, but yours at least has got a little bit, of a more exciting element with a little edge. I really like it. Yeah.
Then also relatively easy. This is another of my very best sellers. It's the Mastic cardigan. So, it's
very funky shape, very nice.
Knitted in pieces. So from this point of view, it's not difficult. You're only picking up stitches for the sleeve, but it's not done in the round. So even the sleeve is knit flat. So that makes it a little bit easier from my point of view. The texture is interesting, but not difficult at all. It's just some slip stitches and knit and purl.
Okay, yeah.
But this one is a lot of fun. I think I made 4 by now. So
really?
So this would be the easy ones. As intermediate, I would say Esioo Trot.
Beautiful shape.
Very accomplished, but it's not really hard. So I'll just stand up so you can see.
Is it twisted ribbing? The ribbing?
So the rib is twisted.
Oh, it gives such a neat and decorative finish, the twisted ribbing, doesn't it?
And the sides are interesting. I'm not gonna wear it because it's very hot here.
Yeah.
But this is the stitch on the side. So you have this line that moves. And it's not traveling stitches, it's just decreases and increasing that moves. So not difficult at all. And it has a turtleneck if you want to, but you can also finish it by the base of the neck. And I think the back looks pretty good.
Ooh, so the back is contiguous. You didn't pick up stitches at the back.
Yeah, you save them on a needle end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So this is
fantastic. I suppose that comes from a book. The name comes from a book.
Yes, it's the Roald Dahl little beautiful.
And you also have a turtle in your logo. What is the reason for that?
So the turtle came from a little meme that I was sharing with my daughter. It's a little turtle that says, "I'm so happy to see you." and then it says, 30,000 times later, I'm so happy to see you.
Okay.
So this is me and my daughter. We are always happy to see each other.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And the Esioo Trot was for her. I made her. So because it has the turtleneck, I thought tortoise neck, turtleneck.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's a bit of a in joke.
Okay.
I talk about it in a video I have on YouTube where I present this jumper Esioo Trot. So if anyone wants to see it, I've also put a photo with the turtle and the joke.
Please send me the link. We'll add it in the description box so that people can look at that. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
So the turtle, of course, is slow, and knitting is not fast.
No.
And we love it for that, and we think it's worth it every minute of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, amazing.
And then also intermediate, I would say, is my latest wrap. This is the Excelso wrap.
That's the one I'm doing first, because I would like to do 2 projects for the knit along, but I've tried to be, not that I've tried to be, I really like everything. I see 1,000 projects I like every day, and I need to pick and choose. And I have tried to pick last year, garments a lot. I've test knitted a lot. And now I realize I just want wraps and shawls and wraps. And I have decided to embrace this, this feeling I've got for this year. So
there's going to be lots of wraps in your life.
Yeah, I'll start the knit along with that wrap that looks beautiful, and then I'll try a garment. So sorry for interrupting you.
I start from this end.
Oh, yeah.
Just cast on 5 stitches, and all the increases are on the side here.
Okay. So
this
it's only on one side. The increases are on one side.
Yeah. So you get a triangular wrap. That's
beautiful. Yes. It's a very modern sort of lace, very contemporary.
Yes, and the wrong side actually is my favorite. I don't know if you can see it. Very striking.
Yeah, because the waves against the reverse stockinette are, popping out more. So it's really nice. Yeah.
And this is the yarn from my latest collaboration with Great Southern Yarn, who have this is a hand-dyed yarn, and
beautiful.
It just happens to be the Pantone color of the year.
Yeah, you're right. So you see, you've got fashion and style in your blood. You can anticipate everything. You're fantastic.
So that's intermediate. Now we're getting into the, I don't know if you would say this is more difficult. I had many people do it. This is the, what do we call this one? Margareta. A bit more Italian here.
Yeah.
Cowl.
It's just the petals, they are bubbles, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's probably the only element that adds a little bit more of And
it is chart only. So some beginners don't like charts, but I think the chart for this one looks very much like the knitted fabric, so it's not very hard. And lots of people love knitting it. It's an 8-ply to 10-ply you can do it in, and again it's a one skein,
fantastic. So if anybody out there has got a lingering 1 skein 8-ply, it's perfect.
This is how it started. My local yarn shop was closing down, and I went in, and there was 1 skein of this beautiful I think it's Malabrigorios. And so I had a skein that needed something.
Yeah. No, it's great for gift knitting as well. All those things. There are some clever knitters who start in January their gifts, knitting their gifts for the end of the year. So that's a very good one. Yeah.
And now in the more tricky, this is the cockle shell.
That's quite a striking look, but it does look a bit more complicated, actually.
Yes. So for this reason, I've started teaching this workshop where we go through the cockle shell. So the cockle shell is this end, and that's
that's the stitch.
And it's tricky when you have to drop these stitches and knit through them. So anything that's this complicated, it's hard to put in words. Someone needs to show you. So the workshop
see.
came from that.
I see. Well, I don't think we have mentioned the fact that you're actually based in Melbourne.
Sydney.
So in Sydney. Okay, in Sydney. You're right, not Melbourne. Silly me. You're based in Sydney. So yeah, unfortunately, you're not so close to us that we can meet and knit together. That's a very much a pity, or we can sort of organize anything around here with you, but we'll meet in person, let's keep it a surprise, but we'll meet in person this year, which is great. And I can't wait to see more of your patterns, and squish them.
Well, okay. I think this is one of your favorites, the Crazy About Cables.
Yeah, that's the garment I look forward to knitting. I love all those stitch patterns.
I will immediately point out this beautiful cable is not my creation. This is from a book by Nora Gone.
Okay.
So if people feel like, I can do what Vera is doing, I can write patterns, just grab her books and on you go. Everything's in there. So
it is. I'd love it to be so easy, but it isn't. Let's be honest.
So with this one, you need sideways, and I think that makes it more wearable, because cables sometimes tend to make you look big because you have all the vertical stripes and horizontal stripes. Apparently, I don't know if it's true, make you look thinner. So not that this, maybe I don't want to look thinner. But anyway, this is the trick with this one. You look at it and you think, how is that done? It is called Crazy About Cables, but there's not that many cables. There's quite a bit of relief sections, when you do cables after cables, it becomes tiring. But there's quite a bit of simple things,
that like checkerboard, with knit and pearls and a bit of moss stitch there.
Yeah. And the rib is done as you knit. It's just 2 rows of knit, 2 rows of
Okay. So it's very textural.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So it is a project, but I've seen it done. Okay. When I released it, I thought no one's ever going to do it. But there were quite a few people who came to Bendigo last year and they showed me. I applauded them.
Our good friend Susan test knitted it for you, didn't she?
In a beautiful color. I think she did a great job. The testers for this were amazing, and all their projects were just, and it was Oka Yarn who supplied, like, she really helped with the test. She gave a very special price to the testers, and they all did their knitting the original Oka yarn. So it was
fantastic. And that one, I don't think it shows by showing it like that. It is quite boxy, but it's got fitted sleeves, hasn't it, in ribbing, which I really like the contrast between a boxy body and more slimline.
You have enough. Fabulous. Like, usually when you see the body, if the sleeves were also cabled, I felt it would be too much. So you need a bit of relief.
I agree. When did you design this pattern?
So first I made it probably about 10 years ago in that Rowan tweed, felted tweed. And then 2 years ago, I put on Facebook, there's all these knitters groups, and I put a photo of it and I said, do we think there is interest in it? Should I write it down? And the response was overwhelming. Yes, people were so excited. So then I thought, okay, this is tricky, but I'll do my best. It's because cards.
To be honest, very recently I've seen, in different sort of styles and fit, etc. I've seen quite a few of patterns that try and use the cables horizontally. But when I looked at your profile, I thought, Vera must have been one of the first ones to have that idea, because all the others I've seen are only very recent. So you were a groundbreaker with that there as well. And anyway, I'm really intrigued by this sort of fit with the more fitted sleeves. I think it's
are you going to do it in wool, or what were you thinking?
No, I was thinking of wool. At the end of the day, I struggle to see a cable sweater in other fibers, honestly. I don't know if you've got any good suggestions for, a different, maybe a mix but I think, it
I
would
found
be.
this one, the gray one that I've showed you is it done in cotton.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Really?
It can, like, the stitch definition is very good.
Yeah, of course, because cotton.
But it's very heavy. Very heavy. So, like the wool is probably about 500 grams, 600 grams. This is 800 grams. So some people might not like that.
So maybe a wool and cotton blend. There are some that give a very nice effect. Some are quite round as well in the ply, so that helps with the stitch definition, doesn't it?
Yes. And you can make it without the sleeves. There are
as a vest or a cape
or a top.
Yeah. And myself, one of the things that always give me a little bit of a headache when I start a new project is the problem with gauge. There's always a massive discussion when some new projects come out about gauge. So what is your recommendation to somebody who maybe wants to pick a certain project, has got the yarn you recommend, or that sort of yarn weight, and then gets to the swatching phase and finds out the gauge is not working? What would you recommend?
The best thing is to make a swatch that's big enough. So when you see the gauge in a pattern, it says so-and-so on 10 centimeters. That's just the way we measure. But don't do your swatch in 10 centimeters, at least double. And I know many people go like, what? I'm not going to need all that. It's the best thing you can do, because when you measure, you're going to measure in the middle of the swatch. And also a bigger swatch behaves more like a garment in that it has a bit of weight. And when you block it, definitely you have to wash it after doing your swatch, because something will happen. It might stay the same size. It might become longer. When it gets longer, that's a sign that you probably didn't get the ideal gauge for the yarn. Like, I think if you are exactly at the gauge that the yarn requires, like what it should behave, it shouldn't gain a lot when you block it, unless it's cables. Cables will gain. Cables will gain a lot, and that's normal, and we expect that. But if it's stockinette stitch, unless you're going for a see-through look or something like that, should sort of stay the same.
Okay.
And if you don't get gauge, you can either go up a size or go down a size. That's also one of the tricks that all knitters know. Do the same jumper a size too big if your gauge is under, and work from there.
Absolutely. But
this is for garments. If we're talking accessories, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the reasons why I really like knitting shawls as well. I'm really lazy when it comes to the technical aspects. I'm very much a gut knitter. I just like to go with my guts. But I think, again, as we said in the beginning, there's so much to choose from in your range of projects. And I think it's worthwhile mentioning that you are giving us a fantastic discount on your projects, on your patterns for the first week of the knit along. So a 50% discount, which we are so grateful for, is absolutely amazing. And you are sort of staying with us for the whole duration of it, aren't you? So you have a Ravelry group.
Yes, I've started a Ravelry group, and I've also started an event. I was not sure how this works, so everyone will have to help me along, but it's there. So Vera KAL, it's there. Both of them are open, so you can join the group and join the event. And there is no limit on how many patterns you can buy for the 50% off. You want to go crazy, buy all of them?
Fantastic. Good, that's great. And you are going to, I suppose, be available on your other social medias, aren't you, as well? On your, if people want to text you on your Instagram or for suggestion. And we are going to have a Facebook group where you'll be involved in. So, I mean, there are a lot of opportunities for us to do these things together, and also for the knitters to have, you know, the best advice, because we all sometimes seek advice from our knitting friends. But I think that being able to ask the designer for advice on when you stumble onto some issues in your pattern, I think that's absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much for that.
My pleasure.
So yes, I think there's little less left to say. It's time to go and have a good browse to all your patterns, and you know, to some lovely yarns, and we can't wait to see what everybody will come up with. Can we?
Yes, it's very exciting. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, Daniela, and thank you.
Just out of curiosity, as this knit along is going to last for 3 months, so we've got quite a bit of time. Are you planning to release any other new patterns in this period of time that somebody could sort of decide to jump on for and still use for the knit along?
Yes, there will be a surprise accessory. I cannot say what it is because the lovely Donna from Adagio Mills asked me to keep it a secret, but it will come out on the end of March, I think, at the Easter show. It's definitely a one skin wonder. It's easy, another simple one. So that is one thing. And then in probably towards there will be another sweater, but if there are testers interested, there will be a sweater that needs testing. So I don't know, can we accept tests for the knit along? I think, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Yeah.
So if people follow me on Instagram, I will announce the test probably in about 3-4 weeks. And then the test definitely should count because it's a jumper and it's got beautiful cables and fun and engaging and
fantastic. So we are full of surprises here. Full of surprises. That's just amazing. Okay. Well, Vera, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning chatting with me and for, you know, giving this much enthusiasm to the initiative, and for, you know, for giving us so many beautiful patterns to knit from. And
thank you.
Let's chat again soon, okay?
Sure.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
So I hope you have enjoyed this interview with Vera. It was my first time interviewing anyone, and I felt a little bit out of my comfort zone, but it was a really nice chat we had, and yeah, it really felt like chatting to a friend. And I hope that the enthusiasm and the, you know, joy that we both are feeling for this event, for this initiative, has somehow, you know, got to you through the screen. I hope you have had some good tips to choose the pattern you want to try. And I want to remind you that in the description box below, you'll find also the link to a little video that Vera recorded where she talks about her Esioo Trot. A beautiful, beautiful jump, the beautiful jumper that you have seen in the interview. So you can hear more about it there. And of course, you can always reach out to us and, you know, get in touch. We'll be very happy to give you any suggestions or just, you know, help decide or make sure you feel part of this knit along and you really enjoy the experience. So I hope to see you on the 9th of March for the Zoom cast on party. And well, have fun. Happy knitting. Bye.